Hi, everybody. This is day 1633 days. Sorry about that. Okay. Got a phone call right as I started. Okay, so let's start over again. This is day 1633 days since Richard was premeditatedly murdered on Fort Bliss. And wow, there's a lot going on here. So, let's start over again. You know, when things start happening, it gets so busy, and you just have to take a deep breath and start, it's kind of like those old telephone operators, be real calm and pull it out and connect it and just be multitasking. So that's what's happening right now because MAGA is coming. We got 5 more days. We have 5 more days. MAGA is coming. And we are absolutely uh, preparing, and many others are preparing. You see, that is what's happening. They have to make sure that they have dotted their I's and crossed their T's because MAGA is coming and dereliction of duty, um, is not going to fly anymore. That's the message and it's really not the message from Trump, President Trump. It's really the message from MAGA. It is really the mandate. The mandate is we are so tired of, our government not letting the water flow, right? Not letting the water flow, letting our cities burn, letting our military volunteer sons and daughters get hurt, become victims of their own leadership, right? They're tired of, the taxpayers' money being misused, um, wars not being won. And, it was very clear what was happening today. The message was being screamed out. So, yeah, it looks like I'm on. I think everyone can hear. So, what's my message? We took the time out to watch Pete Hegseth. He's had his hearing today, and he has been nominated for the Secretary of Defense under the new Trump administration. And so that was very important. It gave us a good look into the Senate Arms Committee individuals. We weren't too impressed. We weren't too impressed with the Democrats, I should say, with the Democrats. I can tell you that right now. I thought that they were absolutely did not get the message from the American people. You see, we are a republic. We are a democratic republic. The people have spoken, and now the Congress, whether you are a Democrat or a Republican, whether you're a rhino or, a MAGA, it doesn't matter. The people have spoken, and they've given a very, very clear mandate that they are tired of uh, the government trying to get out its social policies rather than do their jobs as law enforcers, keeping our board, looking after the property of the United States and defending the Constitution of the United States, which is the land and the people, right? The land and the people, we the people, our rights, defending our rights. And, they are today, the way they interviewed Pete Hegseth, sorry, they did not get the message of the mandate. It was so clear. And it was such a disrespect of our military. It was such a disrespect of his service. And whatever they wanted to point out about his personal life, okay, fine. But there has to be decorum. There has to be an acknowledgement of his service under poor leadership, because we haven't won. And, this one Democrat from Rhode Island, he was, spewing from the spleen. Really, I love that term, spewing from the spleen. He was spewing garbage, really. That's what he was doing. And he was saying that, really trying to manipulate the whole narrative about women in the military and everything. And um and he was saying, "Oh, we've come a long way." Wait a minute. World War One, we won. World War Two, we won. And both of those wars, women played pivotal, pivotal, pivotal roles. Absolutely pivotal roles. And we won. But they were not on the front lines. Not everyone can be on the front lines. You have to have support units. You have to have the home front being supported. 30 years my husband served, and he didn't have to worry, because he knew that I was at home, that I would be faithful. He could trust me, that I was loyal, that our finances would be fine or made better, that our children would get the care that they needed, that our home would get the care that it needed, and that when he came home, the fire would be burning and food would be on the stove, and it would be okay. And because of him having that knowledge, to me, that was my part as support for um, any kind of war, whether I agreed with it or not. I had to support our military, the United States of America, because we don't know, we don't know everything. We don't have the intelligence, right? And what I mean by the intelligence is like CIA intelligence, FBI intelligence, this secret information. We don't have it all. We don't know what's going on. And so we have to trust. But if we have a government that's not trustworthy, that they are caring more about a social agenda than defending our Constitution, then you have a real breaking apart of the Medal of Honor ethos, the esprit de corps that is necessary to win wars. And so, um, this attack, there was no doubt in World War One, World War Two, and I would say Desert Storm and Desert Shield, we had absolute esprit de corps. I remember a lot of esprit de corps, whether those were the right wars or not. As Americans, we were together and we were supporting each other in it. And women played a pivotal role, and so did the men. And to be on the front line, there's absolutely opinions on that, of women being on the front lines. And Pete Hegseth has his, and he's allowed to have his. And that does not mean that you can dismiss that he was willing to give up his life for his country. And uh, these Senate, especially these women senators, sorry, they were just absolutely. It was pretty disgusting to see how they acted. Um, and then of course, what was that other guy's name that was running for vice president and he lost? Thank God. I got to cross myself on that one. Thank God he did because oh my gosh, that was so bad. But anyway, I think that he's going to be confirmed, and we did watch Ted Cruz give his take on Pete Hegseth, and said that he would. And it was kind of like a little heartbreaking watching Ted Cruz. You get kind of, oh my God, like really heavy hearted because of that letter. And that's why I posted that up, remembering that letter that he wrote about 15 plus agencies. Of course, it's far more than 15 plus now. I mean, it's far more. It's probably 20 agencies. And then when you do, and I've worked on this for quite a while, when you compare it, and I have a few more, when you compare it to other cases, even like the El Mayo, I haven't, no, the El Chapo case, um, I'm going to post that one up too. I think it's very important to compare the cases and how many agencies are involved and um, really understand how big Richard's case is because, uh, you know, we've been right all along, haven't we, about the tunnels? We've been right all along about the trafficking. We've been right all along about Richard being murdered on Fort Bliss. We've been right all along about Leilani Hart, or Dallas Hart. Look at today. I have to really thank Delirious because she, um, we have enough evidence. We have more than enough evidence, but she also, confirmed Dallas Hart as Richard's platoon leader. The word is getting out there. The pictures are getting out there. The evidence is getting out there. Other people, MAGA is coming, so people feel free to speak, right? People feel free to speak, being an official whistleblower or just someone that wants to just speak, right? And we know that Dallas Hart was Richard's platoon leader. And, for they don't want to name him because he is the prime suspect of the prime suspect in the murder of our son. And, it absolutely has to do with the arms room. And he absolutely, as a platoon leader, had full access to the arms room. And the security breaches of the arms room, and of course, from seemingly from all the information that we have, that's the crime scene. That is the crime scene because, of course, we have it from the director of emergency services, Thomas Kane, on Fort Bliss, that the general ordered an illegal full renovation of the arms room. And, so, I mean, um, you only do that if you're trying to cover up evidence. There, in our estimation, in our, um, and then of course the seal on the door, the red seal, the red security seal on the door, and the number that's on that seal, and we have all of that. We have the video, and we'll edit that and get that out to everybody ASAP. But there's just so much happening. Like yesterday, with all these tunnels are huge. It's a big deal, and I've been talking about the tunnels because that was really a talk, way back when I was a young girl, I knew about the tunnels. And then, because I was born on White Sands Missile Range, that's where I was born, not even in William Beaumont. I was born at White Sands Missile Range. I should show everyone my birth certificate. And now sister and brother-in-laws, they were born at William Beaumont, right? So both Rob and I have long histories with El Paso, Biggs and Fort Bliss and White Sands and McGregor Range and uh, you know uh, it's we have this history because we went to school there, we grew up there, um, and we know Juarez, and we that was a topic of our life, right? And so somewhere in there, and I know it was my dad, the topic was um, these tunnels everywhere in El Paso, and it made the land, very, uh, very valuable. Here it is, a desert. It's on the Rio Grande, and but there was something else happened there, right? Something else, and it's amazing. And we can't say we know everything, right? We can read our history books or whatever, but we can't say we know everything. And the history books, how reliable are they? We know that the Bible is reliable, um, but not all books are reliable. And so, but one thing that I know and is that there are tunnels. There are tunnels. How those tunnels got there, um, we'll leave that up to some councils to discuss, right? But I've always said it's an ancient city. It's a grid. There's even been discussions that Juarez and El Paso are a star fort, and of course, I love star forts. Berlin is a star fort. Paris is a star fort. Copenhagen is a star fort. London is a star fort. When you've traveled, Malta is amazing, amazing star fort. We have star forts. New York is a star fort. So St. Augustine just went there not too long ago, walked the Star Fort. They're amazing structures. Um, and there's been talk that El Paso, once upon a time, El Paso and Juarez were star forts. So, it wasn't a surprise when we were getting confirmations that there were tunnels. Um, and of course, tunnels, going from uh, under one building to a next building and all of that. Um, and then of course, this tunnel, the Polero, right? The Polero tunnel, which means chicken farmer, or which is Spanish word for coyote, right? They say it different, um, which is a trafficker. It's a trafficker. And, more and more articles are coming out confirming that these tunnels are used for trafficking. And, you can say human trafficking, you can say drugs, you can say weapons, you can say ammunition, you can say, money trafficking. So let's just combine it all and just say criminal trafficking. And of course that's going on, and it's been going on for a while, and it's been very profitable. And I even say that the cartel came over, right? The cartel came over. They recruited. They had better luck recruiting than the army. The army doesn't have good luck recruiting, but the cartel seems like they're really recruiting everywhere, even within the army. And when Richard is coming from Europe, coming from a whole different kind of atmosphere, environment, homeschooled, very different kind of life, to Texas, to El Paso, the epicenter of criminal trafficking. And we didn't really know, I didn't know that it was the epicenter. Sorry, she knows. Um, we didn't know that it was the epicenter, that it was so bad. We didn't know. We were very ignorant on that. We just had our old memories of El Paso, and you know, um, I get heartbroken when every time I think about it because I go, oh, I should have known. I should have known, but we didn't. We didn't know, and Richard found himself in the epicenter of criminal trafficking, and with all these tunnels, of course, with the infiltration of the cartels coming into El Paso, years probably developing the El Paso cartel, because absolutely, I can tell you right now, it's the El Paso cartel. And the officials now, the tunnels articles are absolutely confirming that these are government sanctioned tunnels, government sanctioned trafficking networks. And so that means that there is an El Paso cartel, a criminal, um, organized crime. And we know that FBI Nieto leaked leaked our whistleblower complaint to Leilani Hart and Tavita Nusa, CID agent Tavita Nusa, endangering our whistleblower. We know that. And we know that Bob Moore, as somebody in the CID office in Quantico, is up to no good with Bob Moore. Leaking, working against a Gold Star family, working against a soldier, a soldier's remains, being able to get back to their family, to be laid to rest with honors, right? With honors and yeah, with the family. And, they are absolutely trying to put forth a false narrative so that they don't have to give us back our son's remains. That's how I feel about that. And Bob Moore is absolutely disgusting human being. He's disgraceful. He's disgraceful, and he's absolutely biased. He's absolutely biased, which is a very, very big deal when you are a 501c3. And with these tunnels, it's absolutely clear that he's biased. Now, he needs to talk to Dolores Montanez. He needs to talk to her because she absolutely confirmed that his source, Dallas Hart, was Richard's platoon leader. And so, Bob Moore, if you're watching, you need to call Dolores. You need to call her. Um, and we have more evidence. We have it all confirmed that Dallas Hart was Richard's platoon leader, and that implicates Dallas Hart even more. And we know that Richard's unit, which would include Dallas Hart, was tied to the Walmart mass shooting case through 3905 Bliss Avenue. Everyone has this information. We have just spread it out everywhere. And, and then that ties him to Leilani. And Leilani, um, you know, with a sworn affidavit, a sworn confession, um, implicated her family in the worst type of crimes against children and with one another, right? With one another, the worst type of sexual crimes, with children, the worst type of crimes, buying illegal weapons, just really having the illegal child videos that you're not allowed to have, that are child torture. So, and this was Leilani Hart, and no matter what, Leilani Hart needs to be arrested right away, right away. Yesterday she needs to be arrested because she had that sworn confession turned into the FBI. And either her family needs to be arrested, including her, because the most terrible act you could do against a child happened. She's saying it happened in her master bedroom by multiple members of her family, and that she didn't turn that in. She didn't turn that in until here it is years later. And she's including it in this confession, this notarized confession. And so that is, she's obligated by law to timely, without delay, turning in that kind of criminal activity. And so she didn't. So she needs to be arrested for that. She needs to be arrested for just the whole thing against her children. And we have even more information that's not even tied to the confession, because she has another confession, and then she has all this other stuff that was floating around, that we have verified, from her and her then husband, James Hart, and of course from Dallas Hart, and tampering with and intentionally interfering with investigations to obstruct justice. So, it's she needs to be arrested right away. And then for Bob Moore to use her, and she has this long criminal history. She has such a huge criminal history, and it goes back over and over and over again, before Richard was even born. And so some of these victims are, right there. You can find out who they are. And, so we absolutely have confirmed that she's up to no good and she needs to be arrested. And this is, you know, what is FBI doing? Instead, leaking a complaint against her to her, endangering the law abiding whistleblower, and trying to protect the convicted criminal, Lonnie Hart. But you know what? That's all over with now. This is good news. MAGA is coming. And that's all of that was lost. It's kind of like, I do know that she really liked the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, Dallas, Texas, Dallas Cowboys. She has a connection to Dallas, which is interesting because Bill Hicks has a connection to Dallas, but and so does Patrick Crucius has a connection. Patrick Wood Crucius has a connection to Dallas, but Dallas Cowboys. Um, there's still many people that know this, but so she had this shrine for the Dallas Cowboys in her home. She, just loves the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, great, wonderful. You know, I don't know if I love the Dallas Cowboys, but when I lived in Texas, I performed 3 times at a halftime for the Dallas Cowboys, when Roger Staubach was the quarterback, and Tony Dorsett, amazing player. And I was standing ready to go on halftime, and I could have probably reached out and touched both of them, because I did that 3 times, 3 different years. Thanksgiving, you can check it out. Thanksgiving. What years were they? One year we were ready to go, but we couldn't because they went on strike. Um, so I would say 83, 82, uh, and 80. One of those years, maybe it was 80, 81, 83, something like that. Yeah, I performed for the Dallas Cowboys during halftime. Um, Yeah, it was just amazing, amazing experience. Uh, and so that's just like a little bonus talking about Leilani and her love for Dallas Cowboys. Um, but so we absolutely have information. We have verified that information, and she needs to be arrested. She absolutely needs to be arrested. And the um, whistleblowing that Richard did is coming more and more to light. Who is involved? And I even put up the agencies, and I had to add the FAA, and I had to add the CIA, um, because they are absolutely part of this case, and it's just huge. Uh, and that doesn't happen unless there is international trafficking, and that's what these tunnels prove, that that there was international trafficking going on. And so we're not overreaching to say that Richard's unit was involved with the uh, trafficking, and that it is tied to the Walmart mass shooting case, and that the politics was very desperate because of Trump. Trump drying up their trafficking, and them wanting to protect uh, their business, their criminal business. And so anything that got in the way of that, and Richard's reports, um, absolutely MAGA, absolutely President Trump, absolutely whistleblowers, and they went after them to retaliate against them, to silence them, and in Richard's case, to murder them. And that, and it's all tied together. So I talked about Pete Hegseth. I've talked about Leilani Hart needing to be absolutely well, yesterday she needed to be arrested. And I talked about MAGA coming. I need to talk about Joe Spencer. So Joe Spencer, so what happened is yesterday, the Walmart mass shooting case, um, understandably was canceled. We have worked very, very hard to expose the false narrative, the illegal, I should say, the misconduct going on in the Walmart mass shooting. And, we've had just a handful of hearings. And I think maybe two handfuls of hearings for the Walmart mass shooting case in over 5 years. And they've gotten millions and millions of dollars. And I was, speaking with a friend, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, that's like $500,000 for one hearing." I mean, that's an obscene amount of money. And you're not even talking about the federal case, right? So obscene amount of money that the El Pasoans and the state of Texas has had to pay. I'm sure that El Pasoans would have liked better roads, better infrastructure, lower taxes, not paying millions and millions of dollars for this open checkbook of Joe Spencer, right? For him to do what? To absolutely intentionally delay this hearing, to obstruct justice in this hearing, to give a false narrative, to sell out his own client. Um, so absolutely, I take a look at the video and also the article that we have put up with that, because Richard's case is connected with the Walmart mass shooting case, because his unit is tied with the Walmart mass shooting case, and his whistleblowing of the trafficking came first. And so, absolutely, those cases are intertwined. And yet, even with all the millions and millions spent on the Walmart mass shooting, I'm wondering what they've spent. And we've got some figures, millions of dollars on Richard's case because it's even so much bigger. Um, what else did there's just so much going on. Um, and I just want to thank everyone, but we're so late tonight again. And thank you, Anicia, for coming on so late and supporting us because really just hold on to your seats. It's going to be, um, uh, you're talking, and that's why I put out the articles about how big Richard's case is. And then yesterday, the Spanish analysis of what's going to happen with these tunnels and the investigations, the snowball effect that says it's going to cut off so many heads, meaning that so many individuals are going to lose their jobs. So many, you're talking about hundreds, if not more. It's going to be such a huge realignment because the people are sick and tired of the criminal organizations doing what they're doing. And they're sick and tired of the media spewing lies like Bob Moore of El Paso Matters to keep the truth from them. And they're sick and tired of all the lies from our politicians. They're sick and tired of the way Pete Hegseth was treated today. He did not get nominated because he's a slouch or because of anything in his personal life. He got nominated for, and they didn't even take the time out to talk to him about what the job entails. And but the word is he will be nominated, and we're very grateful for that. Because of MAGA, because of the mandate, we are getting feedback that says, they're ready. They are ready. And they're going to get their people in, and they're ready. And they learned from 2015, 2016. They learned from that, and they're ready this time. So, so I really appreciate that. Please share all of the information that we're putting out, and say prayers for this whole situation moving forward into the MAGA, the golden age. They're calling it the golden age. And hopefully, I'm praying that it will be the age of accountability. And, we have been in that with this huge wave of accountability that we felt because of the level of institutional support that we were receiving. And now it's even more. It's just like a flood. It's a huge flood, and we're just waiting, counting the days. We think one of those big indications will be the arrest. Who will be arrested first? Where's John Briggs? Where's Bill Hicks? Where's Lil Lonnie Hart? I mean, one of them. Who's going to be arrested first? And it might be someone that we don't even expect. Because the intelligence knows more, and absolutely the Trump administration is fully aware of this situation at the border, and it is the top of their agenda, So thank you so much. God bless.